Yo, what's going on, crew? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be comparing the Samsung Galaxy A13 versus the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. But if you're brand new to the channel, I truly appreciate you for coming through. If you're new, but if you're already a part of the crew, salute. So today we're going to be taking a look at two phones that are basically money savers. Basically, you're going to be able to save a lot of money purchasing either one of these phones. And so we have the Samsung Galaxy A13 on the left, which is basically an older phone from last year in March 2022. It came out, and so it's newer. That was the predecessor for the A14, which actually came out more recently. And so the A14 is basically a phone that just released not too long ago, about 3 months ago in January 2023. So we're going to be comparing these devices, but let's just see what comes inside of the box for the Samsung Galaxy A13. You're going to be getting your box with your information, terms, conditions. You're going to be getting your Type-C to Type-C cable, and you're going to be getting your SIM remover tool. Now on the A14 5G, it's pretty much going to be a similar unboxing experience, and let me show you what I'm talking about. So you're going to be getting the instruction guide right inside of here. You're also going to be getting your Type-C to Type-C cable, which I'm using right now at the very moment, so it's not in here. And then you're going to be getting your SIM remover tool as well. So like I said, both devices will save you a lot of money, and the main difference is when you look at the backs of the devices is that you're getting a textured vinyl finish on the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. You're getting a glossy smooth finish on the Samsung Galaxy A13, and the 5G model will have the frequency band of 5G, whereas on the A13 we will have LTE. There's also a A13 5G, but this is the LTE model. So when we're taking a look at the backs of the phones, you can see they both have triple camera setups, and we'll get into the camera setups as well. You can also see the logo on the bottom as well, and both of these devices are going to be the same height at 6.6 inches, give or take. And so one of the things that I did notice is that they both have 6.6 inch displays. However, when it comes to the tallness measurements, it's going to show that the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G is 78 millimeters as far as how, wide. It's going to be a little bit taller, and then the A13 is going to be a little bit shorter when it comes to height and everything like that. Actually, what did I just do? I think I pressed the wrong number here. But anyways, let's take a look at the left side of both devices, which is going to house the fingerprint on both with the volume rocker above that. And so the A14 5G has flat sides to it. You're going to notice a little bit flatter when it comes to the sides. The A13 is a little bit more round, so it's actually a little bit more thicker too. When you look at the overall thickness of the device, the A14 is a little bit more chunky compared to the A13, which I actually like because it makes it easier to hold. Okay, and so when we're looking at the displays, which I'm going to get into in a little bit more detail, you can see that they both offer the facial recognition as well as the fingerprint. Both displays are absolutely gorgeous. When we're dealing with these guys for the low cost market. And so I'm a huge fan of the overall design on both. They have microphones up top, Type-C with the 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. They also have the single firing speaker down below on both. And so we're going to do a speaker test so you can hear the audio quality, but on the the right side of the Samsung Galaxy A14 and A13, we're getting the SIM slot for expansion. You get the SD card slot and the SIM card slot for expansion. So you're going to be able to expand your storage on your device up to 2 terabytes. But do me a quick solid. If you're still here, just type down below, "I'm still here" in the comment section, so I know you're still kicking it with me. And make sure you hit the like button so we can get this video out to more people and help beat the YouTube algorithm. Okay? So I'm gonna bring in the microphone and let's do a speaker test. And first we're gonna test out the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. And just keep in mind this device does have mono speakers. Let's put the volume all the way up. So that was the A14 5G. This is the A13 LTE. So I also want to test the speeds of the fingerprint sensors. So let's just go ahead and lock both of these devices and then let me test them out on the count of 3. So let me put that locked. 1, 2, 3. That looked like the A13. 1, 2, 3. That looked like the A14. So 1, 2, 3. And it's a little bit of a tie. 1, 2, 3. And it seems like the A14 might be a little bit behind 1, 2, 3. And it's the exact same, in my opinion, the exact same speeds. So let's just test out opening of apps. I'm going to close all. Play Store. That was the A14. Let's do Galaxy Store. That was the A14. Let's do search on the feed. 1, 2, 3. That was the A14. Let's go ahead and try some Google apps. Let's do YouTube. 1, 2, 3. And that was also the A14. Okay. Now, taking a look at the displays, you're going to notice that we do get 2K 60 frames per second when we're looking at the Samsung Galaxy A14. And we only get that 1080 resolution max, 60 frames per second. So when we're comparing the displays on both of these devices, there is a big difference because you're going to be able to watch 2K content. And so let me just talk about the displays, and they're both TFT displays. So let's do 1080 on both, since one is maxed out at 1080 and the other has 1440. So let's just hit play at the same time, and I'll show you guys what they both look at when we are putting them up on full brightness. So let me just go ahead and do that. All right, so they're both maxed out when it comes to the brightness. Let's go ahead and hit play. So it's gonna be almost a draw. But one of the things you're going to notice is that there is a sort of a difference, because the A13 is going to have a 2408 1080 panel, and we're only getting the 2400 1080 panel on the A14. But on the A14 we get 405 pixels per inch, and on the A13 we're getting 400 pixels per inch. So they're both very high density. And they also, you're going to notice that the A14 is going to have a 90 hertz panel, whereas the A13 is just going to have your Gorilla Glass 5. So they're both going to have really good displays, and then you're also getting the Gorilla Glass 5 on the, the A13. I would imagine you also get Gorilla Glass 5 on the A14. And so they're both pretty good when it comes to the overall displays. They both have Dolby Atmos audio when it comes to the Bluetooth and the headphone jack listening. And so I think both of these displays are really good at 6.6 inches TFT LCD IPS. And they also do sport the exact same water drop notch. And so inside that water drop notch on the A13, we're getting on the A13, we're actually getting an 8 megapixel, but on the A14, we're actually getting a 13 megapixel. And so another thing about both of these devices is that when you go into settings and you go into the option where it says display, you're going to notice that we do get that high refresh adaptive display on the A14, but we don't get that on the A13. And then I did notice that we get edge panels, which is really cool because you can swipe across and get to your apps on the here. But I noticed that on the A13, I didn't have the edge panels. And as far as features, we are getting a lot of the same similar features like power savings mode, location, quick share, NFC, hotspot. We're also getting Dolby Atmos for both of these with headphones in. You're getting your protected battery, your QR scanner, live transcript, your modes option as well. You're also getting secure Wi-Fi on both and the kids mode. And so I definitely think it's missing out when it comes to the option where you can pair your screen to your TV. I think they call that quick share, but they do have some pretty decent starter features for both of these budget phones. I also did notice that the A13 was missing the game launcher, but the A14 has the game launcher, so you can optimize and customize your gaming experience. Now, when it comes to the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G, we have the Dimensity 700, and we're getting ultra smooth frame rate as well as smooth, and the highest it can go is basically going to be the HD high graphics setting, but I like to set it to the smooth ultra graphics setting when it comes to gaming on here. And so I definitely think this is going to be a smooth experience because it has 64 gigabytes of internal storage as well as 4 gigabytes of RAM, and so it's going to run really smooth when it comes to the gameplay. And one of the things I really like about this device is how smooth it is, but it definitely plays really well when it comes to the overall gaming experience. And I noticed that it's very smooth with like barely any noticeable lag when I'm playing PUBG or Call of Duty Mobile or any shooters that I like to play on here. So I definitely noticed that there was barely any lag when it comes to gaming with this device. So I definitely think it's going to be a really solid experience overall. And I could honestly say that for this type of device for gaming, you're going to notice some really good gaming quality for sure. Now, when it comes to the settings on the Samsung Galaxy A13, as far as graphics, we're getting the smooth and ultra, and the most it can go to is HD and high settings. But like I said, I like the smooth and I like the ultra frame rate. So let's just go ahead and test out some games on here, but just keep in mind it does have that MediaTek processing chip G80, which is going to be pretty decent when it comes to the overall gaming on here. So the A13 does actually provide a pretty decent gaming experience on here. You might notice a little bit of lag when you compare it to the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G. However, it's still able to basically game pretty decent. I did notice some hiccups when I was just using it right there on the shoot, right there when I was trying to shoot. And but you can get first blood on here. You can compete and actually you know, keep up when it comes to like the overall experience as far as shooting. And so I definitely think you can get, even though it's a little bit of lag, it was definitely able to perform really well. And so as far as battery on the Samsung Galaxy A14 5G, you're getting a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, as well as on the Samsung Galaxy A13. So only both of these have 5,000 milliamp hour batteries, but the A13 actually has 25 watts when it comes to the fast charging speeds on there. And then the A14 5G actually has 15 watts fast charging. So the A13 actually will charge a little bit faster when it comes to using the A13 versus the A14. So a little bit of faster charging speeds. But one of the things, I like the fact that the A14 5G has more memory. It has a better processing chip for gaming. And so I wanted to talk about the cameras just a little bit more detail and kind of go over that, because both of these devices have budget cameras, but they're actually going to perform pretty decent. So when we look at both of these cameras, we're going to notice that when it comes to the overall, you know, modes, we get wide angle, which is really important on the A13. You get that wide angle 0.5 view, which I actually like, which gives you right here, you can see if we compare the 0.5 view to the standard view, you're gonna be able to see further away in the shot or whatever, so you can see what I'm talking about. You're gonna be able to see a wider perspective at 120 degrees. And so I really like the fact that the A13 has the wide angle camera. And so it's going to give you, the A13 is going to give you a 50 megapixel standard, a wide angle 5 megapixel, 2 megapixel portrait, and 2 megapixel macro. And then on the A14 5G, you're getting the 50 megapixel standard, the 2 megapixel macro, and the 2 megapixel portrait. So they actually got rid of the wide angle on the A14 5G, even though I would have preferred to have the wide angle on the A14. They don't have that, so we're pretty much getting some really good quality when it comes to the photos on both of these guys. And let me show you the video modes. So on video modes, we do get the full HD 30 frames per second on both. So that's the highest level that we're going to be getting. We also do get the macro cameras like I mentioned, but we won't have the wide angle on the A14. We also do get slow motion and night mode on the A14 5G. So that's an update, because on the A13 we don't have night mode and we have no slow motion mode. So they actually updated the features. We also do get pro mode when it comes to recording, you know, taking pictures on both, and the food mode and the panorama, we get hyperlapse. And they also have AR zone and Decapic, which are basically the same thing. You can create like little graphic stickers or whatever on both of these things, and so you can kind of get creative when it comes to using it. The Decapic crashes on the A13. It just crashed, so I'm not quite sure why it's crashing, but it does have those features on the cameras. But as far as comparing these devices, I definitely like the more flat, thicker edges on here. It's a little, the processing chip is a little bit better on the A14 5G. It also has 5G compared to the LTE on the A13. And the panels are pretty much going to be very similar, but you're going to get an NFC on both of these for digital wallet. They both have facial ID and face and fingerprint sensors. So the 90 hertz display is definitely a little bit better to have, because it's going to be much more smoother on the A14 5G. And so those are pretty much the main differences. besides the faster charging speed on the A13. But let me know what you guys think down below, and if you're still here, just type down below in the comment section, I'm still here. And I just want to remind you to hit the like button so we can get this video out to more people. But do me a quick solid, if you're still here, just type down below, I'm still here, in the comment section, so I know you're still kicking it with me. And make sure you hit the like button so we can get this video out to more people and help beat the YouTube algorithm. Okay? Later, crew. Peace.